Anyone who's been working in IT for a little while will have had to troubleshoot a network connection on a server or client computer at some point. Most of the time, command prompt commands such as ping, NSLOOKUP, and ipconfig are used for network troubleshooting and diagnosis. Ping will tell me if the IP 1.2.168.1.1 is reachable from my computer. NSLOOKUP will tell me that the IP resolves to pfSense.call.lab as well as the DNS server IP address. And ipconfig shows the IP configuration of my computer. While those work well and perform the desired function, this is a channel about PowerShell, so I'd like to show you some ways to do network troubleshooting with PowerShell and discuss the advantages and disadvantages of using PowerShell commands over the traditional command prompt commands. Several command prompt commands have a PowerShell equivalent. Ping becomes test-connection. Ping-t for continuous ping becomes test connection with the continuous parameter. NSLOOKUP becomes resolve DNS name. And ipconfig becomes get net IP configuration. While not all command prompt commands have a PowerShell equivalent, most of them do, but they're not always exactly the same, so there are certain advantages and disadvantages to using one over the other. Test net connection is like the Swiss Army knife of network troubleshooting commands because this single command combines many functions. To start, I'll use the basic command to test the network connection of 192.168.1.1. Note in the status that it's performing a ping/ICMP test. And I can see that the ping was successful. I can also trace a route with the -traceRoute parameter. I can quickly see all available parameters of the test-net connection command by typing a dash and then holding the control key and pressing the spacebar. Using the dash port parameter, I can determine if the remote computer is listening on port 443. Test-net connection also provides name resolution when opting for detailed information. All these parameters can be combined to give you an all-encompassing information output that would have normally used multiple command prompt commands. The biggest benefit comes in its ability to be used in scripts. This following example script outputs all online computers from a list. In this list, or array, of IP addresses, the first 3 are pingable, but the last one, the one that ends in .93, is offline. Since I just want to know which ones are pingable, I'll use a for each loop to test the connection of each one. If the IP is pingable, it'll output the IP address. I will use only one ping with -count because I can safely assume that if the first is successful, the remaining ones will be as well, and the script will loop through the IPs faster. I'll use the -quiet parameter to output a Boolean value, which is true or false, so I can use it in a conditional statement. Computers that respond successfully to a ping return true, and those that do not return false. While I do use these aforementioned PowerShell commands quite frequently, they do have some disadvantages. PowerShell commands are not universally known. In emergency or outage situations, which require quick collaboration, sometimes it's better for everyone to use just what everyone else knows. Command prompt commands still work. There really isn't a need to relearn the commands if the added advantages from PowerShell are not needed in your situation. And some PowerShell commands do not have a direct equivalent. So, for example, ipconfig/release doesn't have a direct PowerShell command. But that's okay, because the command prompt commands can be used just fine within PowerShell. So PowerShell is, at the end of the day, simply a tool, and tools are used to help you achieve a goal. If you can familiarize yourself with some of these networking troubleshooting tools, then you might just find them useful for your situation. Thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something.